Good day everyone. So for today's discussion, we will have the post-lab on the experiment 1, okay, wherein these are the basic laboratory equipments and laboratory technique, okay? So if you can still remember, we have already demonstrated on how or what are the different laboratory techniques, okay? So nag-demo kami ni Sir Chan sa inyo on how to properly demonstrate the different techniques, okay? So, before kasi tayo mag-start with the actual experiment, it is important na familiar kayo or tayo sa mga different laboratory equipments, okay? Kung ano yung mga names nila, ano yung mga gamit nila, at saka paano sila gamitin, okay? So, this is very important because using the wrong equipment kasi or using it incorrectly can affect the accuracy and safety of our experiment. That's why we're doing this discussion to enlighten you and also to have a knowledge on what are the different techniques and what are the different equipments and apparatus or apparatuses that is being used in the laboratory. Okay. So for the objectives of this topic, no, this experiment 1, so at the end of our discussion, you must be able to identify the commonly used laboratory equipments and glasswares that is being used in pharmaceutical chemistry. At the same time, at the end of the discussion, you must be able to describe what are the different uses of these apparatuses that is being used in the laboratory. Okay. Next slide, we have the meniscus. So, how do we read a meniscus? So, meniscus is yun yung curved surface na nakikita natin dun sa ibabaw ng liquid kapag nasa loob siya ng container. So, nabubuo yun dahil dun sa interaction ng liquid dun sa surface area ng container. Particularly kasi nangyayari yun because of the adhesion and surface tension. Okay? Ganon siya nangyayari. What is the reason? Bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng meniscus? It's because of the adhesion and surface tension. Okay? So, a good example for this one is, for example, nilagyan natin ng water yung graduated cylinder. Mapapansin ninyo na hindi siya perfectly flat yung surface ng water. May curve. And yung curve na yon is what we call the meniscus. Okay? Next, how do we read a meniscus naman? So, or paano natin babasahin yung meniscus? So, if the liquid forms a concave meniscus, we read the measurement at the lowest point of the curve. Paano yung concave meniscus? So, tignan ninyo yung picture dito sa slide na to. The one on the right is the concave meniscus. Para siyang smile. Okay? Kapag naman meron kang solution with convex meniscus or yung baliktad ng smile, no, we read at the highest point of curve. Example tayo, usually kapag yung mga water at saka yung mga colorless liquid, yung mga light color liquid, no, makikita nating curve dyan is parang smile or concave. So, ang babasahin mo nun is yung bottom or yung lowest part ng curve. Okay? Pero kapag mga dark solutions, usually ang makikita mong curve dyan is convex meniscus. Okay? So, anong babasahin mo kapag convex meniscus is yung highest point ng curve. Magbabasa ka or babasahin mo is yung highest point of curve kasi yun lang naman yung makikita kapag dark solutions. Okay? Continuation of how to properly read a meniscus. So, here are the tips in reading a colored and colorless solution. Okay? So, for colored solution, this material instructs us to see or to use the upper meniscus. Okay? Kapag colorless naman yung solution, use the lower meniscus. Okay? So, the important thing for this one is you have to be consistent and correct yung way ng pagbabasa para accurate din yung measurement na makuha. Okay? So, for example, kung colorless yung solution mo, huwag mo nang tignan yung upper part ng curve. Tumingin ka na agad dun sa lower meniscus. Okay? Kapag colored solution naman, ang titignan mo is the upper meniscus kasi hindi mo na makikita si lower meniscus kasi sa sobrang dark ng solution. Okay? Okay, so let's proceed with the basic laboratory apparatuses. So the first one is beaker. So this beaker are commonly used as a containers for liquid or solid samples. Okay, so pwede sila for both, and they can also be used to catch or pangsalo ng liquid during the titration and filtration process. Okay? Pero remember, although may mga markings yung mga beaker na to, it is not generally being used as the first choice when we need to measure a volume, okay? Hindi sila accurate na pang-measure ng volume. Kaya hindi sila yung first choice na gagamitin kapag magme-measure tayo ng volume. Okay? So example, no? Kapag maghahalo tayo ng chemicals or temporarily mag-hold na solution, okay gamitin si beaker. Okay? Pero kapag magme-measure tayo ng mga volumes or liquid volumes, no, hindi si beaker ang gagamitin. Clear? Next apparatus, we have the Bunsen burner. So this one is one of the sources that is being used, heat sources that is being used in the laboratory. So it is generally being used to rapidly heat liquids with high boiling points and low flammability. So kapag need natin gumamit ng flame, no? So we just have to be careful na lang in using or operating this apparatus. So for example, we need to heat a one solution during the process of experiment. Make sure na you know how to what are the appropriate techniques and safe uh, procedures na kailangan gawin kapag ginagamit yung mga Bunsen burner, okay? Next, still under the Bunsen burner apparatus, no? So it has a three types of flames, no? So we have safety flame, blue flame, and the roaring blue flame. So let us discuss what are these different types of flame. So for this slide, we have the safety flame, okay? So it is a yellow from the image that is flashed on the screen, no? It is a yellow or orange, and it is the coolest flame wherein aabot siya approximately 300 degrees Celsius, no? For this one, kapag ganito yung flame na meron ka, kapag yellow or orange flame, no, it is not being used for heating. Kahit flame siya, okay? So, the main purpose of this flame is for you to know that the Bunsen burner is on or working, okay? So, kapag nakakita ng yellow or orange na flame from the Bunsen burner, ibig sabihin nun, ginagamit natin siya for, hindi ibig sabihin nun, nagagamitin natin siya for heating. Safety flame lang siya kapag orange, yellow color yung flame ng Bunsen burner. Okay? Copy. And yung flame na yon, yung orange-yellow flame, is tinatawag nating luminous flame. Okay? Or safety flame. Okay? Next type of flame, no, we have the blue flame. So, from its term blue flame, pwede na siyang gamitin for heating purposes. Okay? So, yung heat nito is umaabot approximately up until 500 degrees Celsius. And blue flame is also termed as the non-luminous flame. Okay? And kapag kailangan na natin ng heating ng substance during the procedure of the experiment, ayan, pwedeng gamitin si blue flame. Okay? Still under the different types of flame, so we have the last one already, wherein this is the rolling blue flame, no? So it has a bright blue triangle in the center that can reach up until 700 degrees Celsius yung heat niya, no? So compared to the regular blue flame, mas mataas yung temperature nito compared dun sa blue flame lang. Kaya kailangan mas careful kayo kapag ginagamit yung flame na to. Okay? Now, next slide, let's discuss the difference between the luminous and non-luminous flame. Okay? So, as you can see on the screen is a tabulation of the difference of the two. Okay? So, let's compare the two. Okay? So, when we say luminous flame, it is usually in color yellow, sooty, less hot siya, at saka it produces more light. Okay? Kapag naman non-luminous or non-luminous flame, it is in blue color, not sooty, mas hotter din siya, and it produces more heat. Okay? So, in simple way, for you to be able to remember this one, kapag yellow, more light, less heat. Okay? Kapag blue, more heat, less light. Okay? Alin yung yellow? Yun yung luminous flame. Alin yung blue? Yun yung non-luminous flame. Kapag yellow, more light, less heat. Kapag blue, more heat, less light. Copy? Okay. Still under the difference between the luminous and non-luminous flame, continuation of the discussion. Okay? So, for this one, kapag naka-close yung air hole, it means ang pinoproduce na flame is luminous flame. Okay? Kapag yung air hole naman is naka-open, non-luminous flame yung pinoproduce. Okay? So, the non-luminous flame is preferred to be used in laboratory operations because it is hotter, not sooty, and easier to control than the luminous flame. Okay? So, example, kapag mag-heat tayo, ayaw nating gamitin yung yellow, wavy, and sooty flame. We usually want to use the blue non-luminous flame na lang instead na yung yellow. Okay? Kasi nga, mas controllable yung non-luminous flame than the luminous. Okay? Mas okay siyang gamitin sa laboratory setup. Okay? Next apparatus, we have the burette. So, burette is used for adding a precise volume of liquid. Okay? With practice, the volume can be determined to the nearest 0.01 ml. Okay? So, example, during the titration, slowly nating ina-add yung solution from the burette while monitoring the reaction, 'di ba? Kapag during kapag titration kasi 'di ba hinihintay natin siyang mag-pink. So kahit small lang yung droplets niya, pwede na kasing mag-cause 'yon ng darkness ng solution mo pag sumobra. So we're using burette during the titration process. Ayan. For such purposes, na kaya niya mag-measure ng precise volume ng liquid up until 0.01 ml. Okay? Kaya mas okay siyang gamitin for the titration process. Okay? Next apparatus, we have the clay triangle. Okay? So, it is being placed, or this apparatus is being placed on a ring that is attached to a ring stand. Okay? Meron tayong sample picture on this slide. Yun yung nasa right. Okay? So, ina-attach natin yung ring na to, ay itong clay triangle na to, dun sa ring na naka-attach dun sa ring stand. Okay? So, what is the purpose of this one? Its purpose is to support equipment such as funnels, crucible, or evaporating dish. Okay? So, for example, kapag mag-heat tayo ng crucible, ayan, kailangan niya ng proper support para hindi siya mahulog. So, dito, or during that time, pwede mong gamitin si clay triangle as a support to your crucible. Okay? Next apparatus, we have the crucible with cover. So, crucible is a small cup made of material that can withstand with a very high temperature. So, what do we mean by that? Pwede mo siyang gamitin during the heating process. Kasi 'di ba kapag during the heating process, mataas ang temperature ng heat. Yan ang sinabi ko nga kanina, usually ang flame is nasa 500 to 700 degrees Celsius or higher. So, kaya yung i-handle, yung heat na yan ay kayang i-handle ng crucible. Okay? So, this crucible and cover can be used during the heating process or during the heating of the substances, and it usually comes with a cover nga. Kaya nga siya tinawag na crucible with cover. So, example, kung yung substance na need i-heat at a very high temperature, ayan, mas okay na gamitin si crucible kesa sa mga ordinary glasswares. Kasi, kayang ma-endure ni crucible and cover yung heat temperature compared to the glasswares na pwedeng mabasag kapag sumobra yung heat. Okay? So, yan. Next apparatus, we have a dropper. So, this dropper is being used to add a liquid drop by drop. Okay? So, for example, kailangan natin mag-add ng few drops lang ng reagent. So, hindi mo na ibubuhos yung reagent Ang gagawin mo na lang is kukuha ka ng dropper para makakuha ka ng reagent from the bottle or from the reagent bottle. Okay? Next, we have the Erlenmeyer flask. So, this Erlenmeyer flask is being used to hold and mix chemicals. Okay? Okay siyang ginagamit kapag meron kang gustong i-mix na solution during the process of the experiment. Okay? So, as you can see from the structure or yung image or yung itsura ng glassware na to, mas narrow yung neck niya. So, yung design na yon is giving na mas okay siyang gamitin kapag nagmi-mix ng solution. Bakit? Kasi less chance yung spilling or matapon yung sample mo during the process of mixing. Okay? So, for example, during the titration process, ginagamit si Erlenmeyer flask kasi every drop na galing kay burette down to the Erlenmeyer flask, kailangan mo siyang i-mix na maayos kasi baka dumikit na sa side ng Erlenmeyer flask. Kailangan mo siyang thoroughly mix, no? With your hand, no? Ayan, ganon. The next apparatus, we have the evaporating dish, okay? So, this apparatus is described as a shallow open container, okay? So, it is being used for evaporating small solution or supernatant liquids, okay? So, this can help us obtain more concentrated solution or solid precipitate, okay? So, kapag mga maliliit na amount lang, pwedeng gamitin si evaporating dish, okay? So, for example, gusto natin mag-evaporate ng solvent para maiwan yung dissolved substance. Pwede kayong gumamit ng evaporating dish pag ganon, okay? Next apparatus, we have the glass funnel, okay? So, it has two common uses for this glass funnel. First one, it is being used for transferring liquid or fine materials into container with small openings. Ayan. Or in Tagalog, ginagamit tong glass funnel na to to transfer liquid or solid or fine materials dun sa mga bottles na may small openings para hindi matapon. Directly matransfer yung liquid or yung fine materials mo papasok dun sa bottle with small opening. Okay? So, second, it is also being used for filtration process. So, during the filtration process naman, gamit mo si glass funnel tapos magpo-fold ka ng filter paper. Kapag filtration process kasi is tatanggalin natin yung liquid portion, ang maiiwan sa filter paper is yung solid substance or sample natin. Okay? Ayan. Usually, kapag sa mga inorg-med, ayan, usually it is very common experiment to use filtration, no? Or filtration process. Okay? Yon. Next, we have the graduated cylinder. So, this one is being used to measure liquid volume. Okay? Dito, importante na marunong ka magbasa ng meniscus. Okay? So, if di ka marunong magbasa ng meniscus, kahit may mga graduated markings yan or measurement markings yung graduated cylinder natin, kung mali yung pagbasa mo ng meniscus, inaccurate pa rin yung volume na makukuha mo. Okay? So, kailangan alam mo kung ano yung proper way of reading the meniscus for this one. So, this one is being used to measure liquid. Okay? Next apparatus, we have the hot plate, okay? So, this one is another source of heat that is being used in the laboratory, okay? So, it is very useful when an open flame is not desirable for the process of the experiment, okay? So, for example, hindi appropriate na gumamit ng Bunsen burner dahil open flame siya. So, hot plate can be used as an alternative source of heat, okay? So, meron pa rin naman siyang usok na konti, pero very minimal compare kapag gumamit ka ng Bunsen burner. Okay? Next, we have the mortar and pestle. Okay? So, this one is being used to crush solid materials or chemicals into smaller pieces or grind them into a fine powder para ma-convert natin yung mga solid chemicals into a finer powder. Okay? So, kapag dinudurog natin yung mga solid materials or chemicals, no, para making powder, usually ang ginagamit is the mortar and the pestle. Okay? So, yung mortar, yun yung bowl, and pestle is the tool that is being used for the grinding. Okay? Next apparatus, we have the volumetric pipette. So this one is being used to measure small amount of liquid very accurately, okay? And it is also very important to know the safety reminder that do not pipette by mouth. Always use a piping aids or rubber aspirator or bulb, no, in aspirating liquid, okay? So, if you need a very accurate small amount, you can use volumetric pipette. Okay? Next, we have the ring stand, rings, and clamps. Okay? So, these three are being used to support laboratory equipments. Okay? So, they can suspend the pirettes, the beakers, the flasks, the crucibles, and other apparatus para maging above container sila or a heat source. Okay? So, what do we mean by that? Mag-give tayo ng example, okay? So, for example, gagamit tayo ng Bunsen burner at kailangan naka-elevate yung container above the flame. So, we can use the ring stand and clamp for support purposes, okay? So, ganun. Next, we have the test tubes. So, these test tubes are being used to hold and mix small amount of samples. Okay? So, for example, maliliit lang yung amount ng sample na kailangan nating i-react or mix. So, you can use the test tube. Okay? So, it is very appropriate to use a test tube kapag small amount of samples lang. Okay? Next apparatus, we have the test tube holder. Okay? So, from its term, holder, it is being used to hold a test tube when we should not directly touch the test tube. Okay? So, for example, during the heating process, no, iinit si test tube. So, hindi natin siya pwedeng hawakan directly with our hands. So, what are we going to do is to use this test tube holder while heating our sample that is inside your test tube. Okay? Gets? Okay. Next, we have the test tube holder pa rin or test tube rack. Okay? So, this one naman is being used to hold multiple test tube upright at the same time. Okay? So, hindi mo naman hahawakan ng test tube during the experiment. So, you can use this rack or test tube rack for you to put your samples or put them there. Okay? Yeah. So, if you have 5 or 10 test tube na with different samples during the experiment, so, pwede mo siyang ilagay sa rack para organized and stable sila. Okay? Para hindi din natin sila matapon during the process of experiment. Okay? Next one, we have the volumetric flask. So, this one is being used to prepare and measure an exact volume of liquid. So, it has a long neck. Kung i-describe natin siya, no? It has a long neck with a calibration line. Okay? So, we usually fill up the solution up to that line kapag ginagamit si volumetric flask. Okay? So, for example, kailangan natin gumawa ng solution with a very specific final volume. So, we carefully add the liquid until the meniscus reach the calibration mark of the volumetric flask. Okay? Yep. Next apparatus, we have the watch glass. So, this watch glass is described as a slightly concave or convex round piece of glass. Okay? So, this one is being used for evaporation process as well as being used as a cover for your beaker. Okay? So, yun. Next, we have the distillation setup. So, what is distillation? So, distillation is the process that we use to separate components of liquid mixture through a selective boiling and condensation. Okay? So, basically, we heat the mixture, you allow the component to vaporize, and then you cool the vapor so that it condenses back into the liquid. So, example, kung may mixture ka ng liquid na may different boiling points, you can use the distillation setup to to help you separate them. Okay? So, gets ba? Okay. Lastly, we have the separatory funnel setup, okay? So, or separatory funnel. So, this setup naman is being used to separate liquids that form different layers such as polar solvent and non-polar solvent. So, example, kapag may two liquids ka na hindi nagmi-mix or naghahalo, usually magkakaroon sila ng separate layers. So, we can use a separatory funnel to separate those layers. Okay? So, parang simple idea lang siya na hindi sila naghahalo. So, we can separate them into different layers by using this setup. Okay? Gets? And last slide, we have the following references that we have used in creating this post-lab discussion on experiment 1. For any questions, feel free to message us so that we can answer your inquiries and questions. Okay? Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.